You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more.
Wepa! When I'm at this, your boy Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. Woo! And today, I got a return guest, man. Wow, I hold me back on episode 386. And we're at, 509. Back then, my homie was doing a project called Spirit 1, 2, and 3. Sasquatch Love from Plague Dr. Press. And now the big man is back, right? Because he got a fire new project that, is literally on fire on Kickstarter right now. It's called Strange Ranger. Man, my man here, he is a digital media artist, educator, and author. A man that wears a little bit too many hats. He's also a publisher of Plague Doctor, Press Comic, the one, the only, the ever busy Mark Bell. What are you doing?
I am doing great, Al. You got to be the hardest working man in indie comics, man.
Salute to that. This is coffee, folks. I'm so hardworking, I need coffee to stay up at this hour.
Working European hours, like you said? Wow. Ooh, that's tough, man.
I'm going to take care of the world, all right? There we go. And with that, thank you for returning to the show. Excited to see what you've been up to since Spirit. And, of course, learn about the Strange Ranger because, a big old salute. We're going to get into that a little bit. But, wow, with 23 days to go, you're just about there with 92 backers. Amazing.
Yep.
We're at 24, 29 over $3,000 goals. Folks, you're going to see why in a little bit, why people are just making it rain on this campaign, as will you. All right, so Mark, man, let us know how you've been since that Project Spirit, man. Like, what lessons learned from that, what you've been up to. Like, let's go.
Well, so last year I did Spirit 1, 2, and 3, and I did Strange Ranger #1. And I learned that I can't do 2 Kickstarters within 100 days of each other.
100 days. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Like both campaigns were a success and everything went really well, but I was exhausted, man. That took a lot out of me. And so I knew this year I was going to do 1 campaign, and that's what I was going to do. And you give the people what you want, but I'm not going to put myself in a place that I'm into exhaustion because I'm not going to finish things then.
Yeah.
Right. So I knew I was going to do Strange Ranger 2, and that also gave me time to plan more upfront, contact more people. So Strange Ranger 2, we have 3 variant covers by excellent artists. And it let me think about the story a bit more because I had the end of Strange Ranger 1 is a big kind of scary ending to it with the villain making an appearance on the stage. And then you get that caption at the bottom, next issue, Night of the Troll Badgers. Okay. I had no idea what a troll badger was. I knew what night was, but that was about it. I had no concept of what I was going to do. I totally painted myself into a
I got to know this. What? All right. So you wrote, obviously, that word, troll badgers. What made you write that? Was it just an idea that's just momentary?
Well, I love badgers. Badgers are they're tenacious. They're cute and tenacious at the same time. And like you get a honey badger, that thing will eat through a wall to get through to what it wants. Yeah. Right. So there's that natural element. Right. And then trolls are kind of fun too, because they're not, they're kind of gives the troll badger an edge.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of an edge, and that supernatural edge, which is what I wanted. Right.
Supernatural trolls, and troll badges. It sounds like I'm good, but whatever forest they're in, I'm staying away.
Oh, you want to stay away because essentially the way I described them to my artist is you take gremlins and you make them badgers and you mix them with like uh um Jack Black. They're just insane.
He said Jack Black.
They're they're
Oh,
uh
shit.
I sent you a picture of what the artist had done with them. They're in Hawaiian shirts. And I wanted them. It's a kids comic, right? So I don't
Yeah.
want them menacing, but I want them chaotic. I want them out of control. I want them wearing funny hats. I want them, and like the main character of Strange Ranger is Agatha Wayne. She's a park ranger. That hat she wears the traditional park ranger hat. Oh, those troll badgers are after that hat like right away. They're like, we need to get that.
All over a hat. It sounds like going on the New York subway.
Kinda, it's that overwhelming sort of kid, the way the Gremlins were. They were fun as well as chaotic all at the same time.
Yeah, I mean the way I see these guys look more like gizmos rather than the other gremlins.
They do, but they're not acting like that. They're a little more cuddly, but they're still setting fire to stuff and knocking things over and getting into food and all that stuff.
Yo, I dig it. All right, so obviously you said one of the biggest lessons is that space of time, those 100 days. Don't ever
Oh.
do that again. What was the most challenging part of that made you say F this for sure, other than the exhaustion? Was there a particular moment that you said, damn, this is too much?
I think the biggest thing was in the spirit, uh, the end part of the Spirit 3 Kickstarter. I just lost that momentum. We still funded and I still promoted it, but it became less fun. And a Kickstarter is such it's like a marathon. And if you're not having fun, if you're not getting something out of it, then it's difficult to do. I finished that and I wrote up a bunch of notes. I journaled a whole bunch of stuff right after that about how exhausted I was and how not to put myself in that position again. What am I going to learn from this situation? And the biggest thing I learned from this situation is, this was created by me and I control this. So how am I going to control it in the future to make it better on me? It never got to the point where I was collapsing or mental exhaustion, but I knew that was possible if I had kept going in that way. Like say I did another one in another 100 days, I know that would have ended up in failure. So it's the biggest gift it gave me is those moments of self-awareness before you have that breakdown, right? Because it's everybody, when you're at your lowest, it's easy to be like, oh, I should have done this. But the best place is when you're like, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah, exactly. You're aware of that scene, that moment, and like you understand and capture. Those moments where they say, "Oh, let's learn." Yeah, without the punch in the face. Right
Yes,
before you got to
definitely.
block it a little bit. Oh shit! Wait a minute. All right, not that.
Yeah.
Such truth, especially for people on the creative path. So talk to me now. You building this baby here with Strange Ranger. We're gonna start getting into this baby. I'm gonna bring up this Kickstarter. But building the team, is this still the same team of folks that you find new people? How is it building Strange Ranger 2?
So Strange Ranger is written and lettered by me and drawn by this kid from Dominican Republic who is amazing. His name is Janssen Carbonell. First of all, He's professional. He's easy to work with. He is super creative and responsive, and has no trouble saying, this page, can we move these panels around? This looks better. Has some self-confidence in his own work as well.
Not afraid to talk to the creator either. Like, something. That takes courage.
Well, to me, and it's his name is as big as my name on the front of the book. We're making this book together.
Beautiful,
right? So, and then on top of it, the guy's from Dominican Republic. English is not his first language, but he still communicates well. He communicates professionally. It's not that I'm surprised by that. It's that like anyone who speaks more than one language, I'm always in awe of, because they have to do that, and to do it so well and communicate so well. Then he just makes beautiful art. On top of all these things, he takes what the ideas in my head and makes beautiful art and brings these characters to life. His coloring is top notch, and especially his lighting and finishing is just super good.
Dude, I mean, look at that. Did he do this particular image here?
Yeah, he did that image, and if you scroll down the first cover, he designed the Troll Badgers, and that's his cover right there.
Look at that. That looks so great, man. I want to see this in a cartoon like ASAP. I want to see it like this.
I'm going to tell you, you're not the first to mention that this would make a cartoon. So
yeah, I mean,
if you're Netflix, call me, give me a call.
You hear Netflix? Come on, I know you guys need content. Oh, well,
and then
man.
this cover is by Kaylin Smith, who is another creator from the Midwest who's done some amazing books like Plume and The House of Lothar, who is just super good also to work with. And clearly, if you look at that image, has her stamp on it, but she also she gets the Troll Badgers. She gets the idea. She gets the fun. And that's also a fun cover.
It also kind of reminds me of like scary ass chipmunks.
Yeah, they're little scary ass chipmunks. And then a third cover is being worked on right now by Melissa Caprione, who does the spirit art. And I tell you, Al, she made an old man happy, because she sent me the image of Kirk from the Tribbles episode with all the Tribbles falling down on him. When they open up that in the old Star Trek, when they open up the area and all the Tribbles fall on to Kirk and he's up to his armpits in Tribbles, she's going to make that into the cover with Agatha with all the Troll Badgers around her.
Oh my God! Oh man, my man is drooling already. Are you gonna auction that off, the original?
So that those three artists are so easy to work with and so great to work with. But Janssen is like, in the same way, Melissa, I started working with her 5 years ago. I knew she was going to go places. She's got a Dark Horse book out. She's got some big books coming out in the near future that we can't talk about yet. She's on her way up. And Janssen has that same feel to him. He's Ringo nominated. He was nominated for a story he did in an anthology called Herology. Nice. He was nominated for a Ringo Award. That he's going to be a star, man.
Excellent. I love that. Super easy. A Caribbean superstar. Let's go, baby. That's what I want to hear. These things. and look at some of the cast right here with Agatha, the main protagonist. Who's Esme and Gord introduced?
So Esme is a supernatural creature that in the first issue, as is common in parks, a child gets lost. And so they're trying to find this child. And Agatha runs into Esme because Esme is also trying to find the child. Now, I'm not going to tell you why, but it gets interesting because this is Agatha's first job, and suddenly she's in a park where there are magical creatures, and then she runs into Gord, who is a weremoose.
A weremoose. I love this.
Now Gord at first he's not what he seems, and then he becomes a friend by the end of it. All but right. The idea is that, you know, I don't want to have a moral or an idea like that in the story, but for me, it's really the story of Agatha and her first job and all the anxiety you get from that first job, because everybody has that anxiety on their first job. And then the friends you meet along the way in that job that help you do that job. At the end of Strange Ranger 1, she is overwhelmed by all the stuff she has to do, and Gord and Esme say basically, we're all in this together. We're here to help you because we're all responsible for things.
So how long is the book? How many pages? I mean, how long is the story idea going for? How many issues is the plan here?
Strange Ranger 1 is 32 pages. Strange Ranger 2 is 32 pages. You always get 32 full color pages with me. Woo. Second of all, there are 4 issues in the first volume of Strange Ranger. So the first one was spring, this one is summer, the next one's fall, and then there'll be a winter book.
All right. So a seasonal project here.
Yes, a seasonal project, and then that'll be put in a trade that I can sell all over the place, because like a library doesn't want floppies. They want a trade, right? So I want to build that up to a trade, and then I can start selling it to more shops and libraries and things like that.
Excellent. You see, thinking ahead, we show the kiddies and everybody get their hands on these books. Look, and that's the link I've been sharing below. It's also going to be in the show notes for Kickstarter. Again, the project is live now. Now, let's shoot back up there before we run down everything you could get. And let me do a quick refresh right now, because you just never know if something just changed or wrong. But right now, we've had 92 backers, and doesn't remain the same. Doesn't want to refresh. How fresh are you? Yes, 92 backers. Salute to you guys. The 24.29 out of a $3,000 goal. So thank you guys for supporting independent comic books and creators like Mark. And I mean, listen, folks, this is obviously you could get started. It is the holidays too, so think about that. Great Christmas ideas right here. You know, tell somebody, hey, I got you started through Kickstarter. It's going to be headed your way, and this would be a fantastic thing. You want to just be nice, you can start off with $1. You could get some awards. You know, a digital PDF starting at $5. You know what I mean? And you want to start smelling ink. Would that be this one, the Rookie Ranger for 10? Was this?
Yep, that's cover letter A, but that's a physical book for $10. Which beautiful. These days, a physical book that's 32 pages, that is, and you've full seen color. Our books, like indeed. Full color. And the color printing, I got to tell you, I don't get sponsored by these guys, but I love them. Comics Wellspring does an awesome job. I
love hearing that. That's the consistent thing I keep hearing.
They're beautiful books. If there's any problem, they'll call you up and go, you know, this is this, or is this the way you wanted it? Super responsive, a decent price, right? They're not the cheapest, but I'm not interested in my books sitting on a boat from China. Yep. This is printed in America.
Let's go.
By people in America, up in Michigan. So say something happens, right? Say there's a problem with the shipping of my books. I get in the car, I go up and get my books.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. So their books are beautiful.
You're telling me, Mark, wait a minute, Mark, are you telling me that this industry still has not allowed you enough money, cash flow, to have a boat where you could just pick it up off the sea from China?
So you can pick your own cover, and of course, then further on down, if you want, you can get all 3 covers. You know, That's the nice thing.
And then
If
you
you
got
want, if you,
two. There we go.
the digital catch up gives you all of my books, all the spirit books, plus all the Strange Ranger books. The cover Ranger gives you 3 books for $30.
Oh, that's beautiful right there. Heck yeah. Also includes digital editions, folks. All right.
Yep. Also includes digital editions. And there's still a couple of those
Early
early
bird.
bird
Oh
ones, which
my.
have 20% off shipping.
Hey, folks, jump on. Yes, they want that shipping. You know, shipping, they're kicking you on the ass. So I definitely think you should definitely listen. There's 8 out of 15 left. So 8 left. Do not hesitate. You got the Sticker Park Ranger. You got the Troll Park Ranger.
So,
Pin Park. Ooh, look at
yep. I'm going to do enamel pins of one of
this. Nice.
the troll badgers, and then there's a logo pin as well of the Strange Ranger logo.
Oh, cool.
Then if you get down, there's all sorts of different ones of these, right? Also retailer. If you're a retailer, you can get just Strange Ranger 2. If you're an existing retailer, like my local is just going to get the existing retailer one. But if you're a brand new retailer, you can get, I think, 12 of my books. So you get 3 copies of 4 books for $90 with no shipping. If you're a retailer, I'll ship it to you for free.
You hear it? Retailers better jump on. Listen, go right there, playdrpress.com. You can contact me directly and get more books, support independent comics, folks. But right now, get behind on the Kickstarter, baby. Right there, folks.
So then I got the fun ones at the end, right? So you got Harassed Ranger. So this is where you appear in the comic book and get harassed by a troll badger.
Oh man, look at me! I would love that. Hell yeah, why not? I've been harassed by cops in the streets of New York. Why not a troll badger in the forest?
So that, and then the final one, Chief Ranger, you will actually get to design your own troll badger in the. You get to decide what they look like, what they're wearing, that sort of thing.
Oh, nice. And I was thinking about something. I seen that I had to wear those Hawaiian shirts, man. We need to get you a sponsorship with one of those Hawaiian shirts. And make a whole troll badger shirt. This is gonna take off. I mean, if you make stuff, little plushies and shit, oh my god, this will take off. They do really look cool.
He did such a good job designing them, and they're so fun. And you haven't even read the comic yet. Yeah, just the look of them is fun.
Let me just put it on the big screen there for you. Look.
Like that guy in the middle there, the little one. Know he's trouble. He's trouble.
Of course, it's always the smallest one that got the biggest mouth and gets you into the most trouble. We had a friend like that. May you rest in peace. His name was Moose, and the smallest one of us saw, and the one that was always fighting the most. And then, hey guys, I have beef. What do you mean? Jesus Christ, here we go. Fun time.
He's going to get us in trouble again.
So. Yes. Oh, all right, great.
I've like we're almost a week in. We're a week in tomorrow. We're almost at 100%. I've had fun with this campaign. It's been fun working with the creators, and I'm going back. Like I'm getting ideas still and putting them in the script. So
nice.
Already. The thing that Janssen really gets is the chaos and the fun at the same time. So
excellent. There we go. Folks, please support this project today. I've been showing off the link. It's right there. Kickstarter Stranger Ranger 2 Night of the Troll Badgers, baby. That's how you look it up on Kickstarter, all right? Check it out. You will not regret it. But now, there's also another thing you got to do. All right, this is live now, but if you have missed out on anything they've done, come on now. You got to go visit the website, playdrpress.com, baby. Now, Mark, talk to us about the website and all the goodies available to us here.
All the website. My shop is currently down, but if you want any of my books, you just email me. You find out about my books. You find out what cons I'm going to be at. I love meeting people at cons, especially backers and things like that. I'm going to be hitting the circuit pretty hard next year. I do 2 big shows and 2 little shows, and I got to tell you, I am sold out of Spirit 2, so I got to do a second print run of Spirit 2.
Wow. So no more first for you collectors out there. No more
Spirit 1 is on its 3rd printing, and I'm telling you, with the amount of backers already for Strange Ranger 2, I'm going to have to do another printing of Strange Ranger already. That comic is not a year old.
Yo, man, what do you think is it that makes people so attracted to this particular title? You know, that's selling the way.
I think Strange Ranger is great because, for one thing, it's a book for everyone. I say it's an all ages book, but it's a book for everyone. Little kids can look at that book and not be, their parents don't need to be worried about what's in the book, first of all, right? And they can follow the story along. They may not be able to read it, right? But they can follow the storytelling. Janssen is so good at visual storytelling. But then if the kids who can read and the adults who read that book, it is, what it is a half-hour cartoon, like something like Gravity Falls or something like that, where you get a complete story. You get a warm hug of happiness at the end of it, right? And there's a couple of jokes along the way.
Excellent. I'm digging it. Folks, you want to tune in? Check out playdoctorpress.com. Get what is available to you there. But most importantly, this is what you got to do right now. You comic book fans, you crowdfunding enthusiasts right there. This is the campaign for you right now. Go ahead and show some love. Again, the link is there below. All right. Now, you had mentioned about the convention circuit and whatnot. Talk to me about that. I mean, is that it? Is it a wrap for the rest of this year? And if so, what's the first one of 2025?
So it's a wrap for the first of this year. The wrap for this year, and then there's a show in Indianapolis in March that I've signed up for. I have a good relationship with the people who run that show. I hope to get in, but spots are limited. You apply, you promote the show, you do your best, right? I always do really well. So I hope to get in. Then
and Mark is frozen.
And that con was like my people. It was people making all ages books, people making fun books like I make, and I had a really good time. So this year I wanted to go to the Toronto version of that conference. So it's called TCAF. So it's the Toronto Comic Arts Festival. But they are usually in the reference library in Toronto, which is this huge reference library downtown. But the library's under renovation, so they don't know when it is. I think it's going to be in May, and I think I'm going to go to that. Couple of reasons. I don't know if I told you, but I'm Canadian. So first of all,
I would have never guessed, because I'm used to South Park and seeing like the flip flop head, and that wasn't happening here. So I thought you were American.
Yep. So that becomes a trip to that show, and I can go visit the family at the same time, right? So it becomes business.
Win-win. Hell yeah.
So that there is a one-day show in my town that I always do that'll be in September. And then what's nice is I'll do one more one-day show, but I don't know where that is yet. I'll just figure it out when I...
What do you just put names in a bucket throughout the year, the ones that come up, and you just all right, whichever one comes up.
Yes and no. You want a show that is comics related. Like I do okay at the pop culture shows, but not as well as at the comic book shows. I
And
want a
again,
real comics focus. And
yes,
then I also want a show in a large, like I'm lucky being in Indy. I'm 2 hours away from Cincinnati and Louisville and St.
all right,
Louis and Indy and 4 hours to Chicago, 4 hours to Detroit. All those are drivable in a day.
yeah,
So
manageable to deal with, you know. Heck yeah,
and also Memphis, Nashville, that sort of southern area too. I just will look for a show that looks fun and that is actively promoting itself.
yeah.
There are a
Thank
lot of people
you.
who promote shows and do shows, and it is so hard to put on a show. I completely understand, but for example, there's the Indie Comic Con. I didn't like how it was run this year, and you know who knows what happened. I don't feel that those people did anything wrong or they were malicious or anything like that. But I'm just going to give it a break.
Yeah,
Let's see if it evens out and what I hear from other people, and then I'll do another show maybe with them. But I don't need to do that show this year.
gotcha. I had a fun one this year. Indie Comics Focus, Indie Comics Creator Con in Connecticut.
Yeah, that's the show that was run by um
Matt,
wasn't that
is-
yeah.
yeah. Listen, to me, outside of New York Comic Con, because I always love that show because they have an awesome artist alley. This Indie Comic Creator Con or IC3, shit, that was the show of the year, one of the independent show of the year for me. Over
Okay.
100 independent creators there, right? Not
Yep.
just with booths, but people I interviewed that heard about the show that couldn't get a booth, just lugging a book bag, making connections. Like I helped two creators land deals there. Half of them were people I interviewed prior that I got to see for the first time ever in person.
Yep.
It was so great. The energy and even Mitch Hallett, that does terrific con, happened to be perusing the show. And I stopped him because he's the veteran in the concert. And I said, "Yo, as a first year show, what do you think?" Here he goes, "I am fucking impressed." His words.
Well, I will definitely have a look at that show then.
Well, I'll tell you, it's expanding from what I hear to 150 tables this year.
Nice.
And again, indie comics focus. Again, I had a blast. Not a celebrity in sight, other than of course our wonderful comic creators.
Yeah.
But I mean, no Hollywood, man. This is comic wood, baby.
Yep.
I loved it for real. So IC3, I highly recommend, folks. Next year, if you in the Northeast area. I don't know the exact date yet, but that's definitely a show to look out for. It happens to be in a college as well in Connecticut.
Okay, cool.
Well done. I'm telling you, it was well done. I had a blast. All right. So, all right. So now with your lessons, this kick-ass campaign you got, making these touring circuits, making these decisions, Mark. I mean, what type of advice are you going to give our creators today out there that are in the game, just like you hustle?
So the first thing I'm going to give advice is finish things. Just finish them. Like if you're going to do a comic and you want to make a comic, your first idea is going to be, and you've talked to these people, this, Al. Their first idea is, I'm going to make a 600-page graphic novel. And I'm like, that's great. Awesome. Can you show me a 6-page comic that you've made and completed and tells a complete story in 6 pages? Because that's what I'm interested in right now. Because the amount that you will learn from finishing 6 pages is more than you will learn stumbling and trying to do 600 pages. Don't write your masterpiece first. Don't even think about your masterpiece first. Think about making something that you that that you can use your strengths on, right? So if you're an artist and you want to make comics, don't worry about a script. Find somebody to give you a 6-page script, or find a 6-page script that already exists and just do that comic. Finish those things, right? So then you have something to show somebody else, right? You need to have that finished idea to show to somebody else, to show that you can finish things and to show that you're doing. Then you can start working on ideas that are more your own, right? If I was talking to somebody who's a writer who's not an artist, I'm like, first of all, rule number 1, you pay your artists. You don't bullshit them. You pay these people because they are working hard. Mm-hmm. And they deserve to be paid, and they deserve to be paid the rate that they should be paid, right? When you mention to them their rate and they come back, if that rate is too high, you say, I'm sorry, I can't afford you. Your artwork is amazing. I respect you too much to haggle with you, right? Yeah. I'm not going to do that. You're out of my league. I hope to get to you. Or I got to save up some more money, right? Yeah. So then when you get with that artist and you have a script already, because remember, step 1, finish things. So you have a script already, you give it to them, and then that is the real work. The real work is getting it made, getting it produced, getting it printed, and getting it in the hands of people. And that is a lot of hard work. And for me, what I bring to artists is, Janssen's in the Dominican Republic. Melissa is a wonderful artist. She's super good, but she's like, you're the most gregarious person I've ever met. I can go to those shows and talk all day about how great their art is, how great this book is. Put the book in your hands. Isn't that book? Like, look at this page. Isn't that beautiful? Like, work your strengths, right? And to understand the business part of this and to act professional from the very beginning. Even if you're doing it as a hobby, I am a hobbyist. There are people who I work with who make a living through comics, but I am a hobbyist. But that does not mean I don't treat those people with anything but professionalism. I write up contracts. I do the right things to make sure that everyone is protected and that everyone gets paid on time. Right. Beautiful. And then the third part of that is you got to talk to everybody. You got to talk to Al. You got to talk to eight other podcasts. You got to go to shows. You got to talk to these people. Hey, how you doing? Have you seen my book? Let me put my book in your hands. Look at that. Yeah, there's a weremoose in this book. Oh my gosh. Like,
look at that spine. Look at that self porn. Come on, baby.
Yeah. And part of that comes home when, so this is my 5th Kickstarter. I think it will be successful. You don't want to.
We're already there, baby. It is. Let's go. Let's manifest. It's gonna be twice that number, kiddo. Don't you worry.
I think we're gonna do really well, and I'm very optimistic about that. But that's because I have a network, and I work with all my artists' networks, and I work with the Indie Comics Network, and talking to people, because the thing is like this. I think I'm doing 6 podcasts total over this campaign. Now, of course, I want to do Al because Al's fantastic. Hardest working man in indie comics, man. So I'm doing all of these podcasts and I'm expanding my network. I'm doing podcasts of things I've never even talked about before. Like, so for instance, and we've talked about this before, Al, but maybe some people are new to this. I'm a white cis creator, but for me, I only employ marginalized creators, right? I hire women, LGBTQ folks, people of color. Janssen is a perfect example. He's a young man from the Caribbean, right? He doesn't get the opportunities that a white guy in Connecticut gets in comics.
Yeah.
He doesn't get those opportunities, and I want to provide more people seeing his work, right? So having that sort of edge or take on things allows me. On Friday night, I was on this podcast that mostly does politics and pop culture, but they were like, "Oh, we'll have you on to talk about, how you use diversity in your comics." I'm like, it's a brand new audience, brand new people. You get to the end. I'll tell you a story, Al. The last campaign, Spirit 3, you did a great job promoting it, and the last day of the campaign, I'm exhausted, but I'm still talking to people. And I told my boss that I had a Kickstarter, right? And my boss goes, "I didn't know you had a Kickstarter." Now, I had mentioned this every day for 30 days. And he's like, "Oh, I'll go back it right now." And he did. Like, there's so much background noise that you have to get over this idea that you're talking about yourself or you're talking about your campaign too much. You cannot talk about your campaign or yourself enough.
Yeah, yo, for real. Yes, listen, it's your passion. Like, I had someone tell me that today. I saw them right before the show, and I say, I gotta go. I have a show. I got this awesome creator I'm gonna be talking to, and and he goes, "Who you talking to?" So I don't know who you were a bit, and he goes, "You know what, man? This is why I like you, Al. You speak about this shit with so much passion. It's like you make me interested. You project it. You get me hooked immediately. I want to know more." So I'm like, "You want to know more? Watch the show. So you better be tuned in, Kev."
and that passion comes from, like, I choose the artists that I work with because they fit. You saw the Spirit 3 artwork.
Yeah,
the Strange Ranger artwork works with that, but isn't the same thing, right? So now there's a kind of feel, a vibe at my table, right? So that these things all kind of work in together, and I know that I can talk about Janssen's artwork and just glow. I don't have a moment of saying, "Oh, I don't like this little bit right here." Every part of it, I love it. I love what he does. I love how creative he is.
You got to bring him on. Remember, yo sé español, so yo le puedo tratar muy bien, olvídate. Johnson, ven para acá, papi. Vamos a hablar.
I will message him tomorrow and tell him to get in touch with you, because I know he's working on a bunch of stuff. And I know you would love to hear his perspective on what he's doing. Because, and then
I want to do more Spanish podcasts too, man. I can't be losing my native language now. Come on.
Yep. And then at the end of the year, he says the best project I worked on was Strange Ranger.
Oh, man. What? There you go. Perfect holiday gift, huh? I dig it. Yo, Mark, man, you're awesome, bro. I dig it. You see, folks, he's passionate. You hear that love for not just his project, but his team. Now, that's leadership. That's what it is. This is comics, man. He builds community, and this is why his projects, get funded. All right, this is where you gotta check him out. If you missed something, go to playdrpress.com. But right now, well, it's going strong, baby. It's on fire. It's on fire. 92 backers already. Be amongst those. Let's get to 1,000 backers or more. All right.
Now I'll tell you, Al. We talked about Blue Sky a little bit. I'll give you a little of the secret sauce here. Okay.
Ooh.
So Blue Sky has these things called starter packs, right? And what they are is a list of accounts that you curate based on whatever you call the starter pack, right? So I have an indie comics starter pack, right? So all the people I work with go in there right away first, right? Then all the people I back go in there, right? The best part, couple of things. Best part about this is you go to that starter pack, there's a button at the top that says follow everyone. Bam. You follow the entire list up to 150 people right away. Fills up your feed full of interesting, fun things, right?
Nice.
Now, you got to promote that list so that people see it. So you put it out there. Hey, if there's anybody who wants on this list, let me know. That is the most important thing. And then, oh, well, I'm running a Kickstarter too. So I'll put that link in the link too. And then everybody forwards it to everybody they want on the list. Well, now it's going all over the place.
And that Mark is also a hacker, apparently. Love that. Great idea. I dig that. Very smart play. Folks.
So it's a great way to, and like anybody who asks to be on that list, first of all, I go look at your profile. If you're there to promote Kickstarter funding projects or something like that, I don't need your spam on my list.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're like today, there was a young woman who makes a comic for her local newspaper in England, just amazing art, just this little local newspaper. And I'm like, okay, first of all, you're on the list. Second of all, your artwork's amazing. And now I have that person as a friend. We've opened up a conversation. I don't need to sell to that person, right? But I can say, your artwork's amazing. I can't wait to read the book that you're working on.
Yeah.
That costs me nothing. It's truthful. And think about what that person feels now.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, man, you see? Community man over here. All about comics, indie, support, love. This is what you do. So please follow him right there on social media. On X, it's Plague Press. On Instagram, Plague Dr. Press. And we were just speaking about it, folks. Blue Sky, yes. PlagueDrPress.bsky.social. Yeah, they make it super long on their shit right now.
They do. They're a young platform, but they're doing lots of good stuff. Yeah, so there's another thing that I'm just found out about was a guy has set up a feed, and any Kickstarter link that mentions comics shows up in that feed automatically. I'm like, I'm going to follow that all over the place, man.
There we go.
Because I'm always, it's funny. I got to tell you, there was a writer of comics. I'm not going to name names because I don't tell tales like that. A known writer, right. Eisner Award winner, right? And on his Discord, he messages me and says, do you want to cross promote your Kickstarter with my Kickstarter? And I was like, sure. But this is my rule when it comes to cross promotion. If I look at your campaign and I'm not interested in it, I'm not going to cross promote it. Or if it has AI art in it, or it promotes something that I'm not interested in, I'm not going to promote it. Second of all, I'm going to promote your book if I like it, and then I don't care what you do. If you want to promote my book, that's fantastic. Come and look at my book. It speaks for itself. But I don't have to do a tit for tat thing. I'm not interested in that. If your book stands on its own, I'm going to promote it.
There we go. You hear that?
And he was like, that's exactly the way I wanted it. And I was like, right on, man.
Great. So it's mutual respect, and I hope you like the project.
His project, yeah, I liked it.
Thank God. See, happy ending.
So and like you're just upfront with people. Like I get lots of people. Like when you get known as a successful Kickstarter, you get people asking you to look at their campaigns and give them advice and all that stuff. And I try to help out the community as much as possible. But if you have AI generated art on your campaign, I'm not interested in helping you. I'm not, it's just not a thing I'm into. I'm into paying artists who make real art.
Those that are sitting on there getting hand cramps and whatnot, let's go. Yes,
Yeah.
What a real artist, definitely. I mean, AI has its uses, but definitely not when it comes to art,
No, like
uses, but
my books, nothing looks like my books. Nothing looks like my books.
Beautiful.
So,
and that's what we want. That's what we want. That originality again, that true spirit, independent, real creation, that human touch. Let's go, kiddo. All right.
Because that's what I bring to the story. I bring to the story that emotion, that humanity, that's the stuff that drew me into comics,
I get it. Yeah, especially the stuff that we grew up reading. Definitely, we're bringing into the story. We had broken heroes that were dealing with their humanity, not dealing with superhero problems all the time, but dealing with themselves. Again, that is why we appreciate good storytelling. We really did have good stories back in the day. People don't understand that. Read the damn story. I'm telling you, the characters have so much more depth.
Yep. And the thing is, there are more and more people making those things now. You just got to go find them.
Yeah, and it's specifically in the world of indie, and that's where people gotta go find him. Listen, I know, much respect to the big two. That big two to me, I would call them like marijuana. They're the gateway into everything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now, Marvel calls me up tomorrow and says, "We've seen your comics. We'd really like you to do a Daredevil comic." I'd be like, "Yes, please."
Yeah, it's opportunity. Well, I mean, you know, it's going to be a nice paycheck at the very least.
But I'm not looking for that stuff, and I'd much rather that opportunities go to marginalized people, especially with those big paychecks.
There we go. I mean, see that man of the people right here. I appreciate you, Mark, for real. And folks, please, follow Mark everywhere. I got all the links below for the socials, for the website, and of course for the amazing Kickstarter that's live right now. Go make it right. This is going to be, holiday present gift idea here. The website, Play Doctor, got gift ideas. Show the love, but also show the support. And real creator, check out his stuff. If you're in Blue Sky, want to be in a list somewhere.
Yep.
Out, all right. Build a community. Let's go indie. Mark, bro, I appreciate your podcast. You have a podcast. So when did you drop your show? What's popping with that?
So my podcast is something completely different. A podcast I do with my wife, which is called Mystery Maniacs. We cover we're a comedy recap podcast that covers mystery TV.
Mystery TV. Oh, shit.
And we're in episode 251. We're covering a show right now called Broken Wood Mysteries.
Really?
We just passed, and you know how big this is, Al. We just passed 500,000 audio downloads.
Woo! Okay, you baby, yeah.
Like that's insane. 500,000 downloads is insane.
Yeah, that's beautiful though. There you go. People are listening. It goes to show that your time, that you're connecting with people again. That's a beautiful thing, man. You keep going, for real.
I get to spend 2 hours with my wife laughing about TV every week. That's fantastic.
It is. It's always great to work with your loved one, and especially share something like that together. I think that's beautiful, man. Well, much love and salute to you and your lady on that. Yeah,
absolutely,
that's thing, man. I dig it. So again, you see this, man. Shit, man. What a good guy right here, for real. There he goes. Follow it on social, the websites, the Kickstarter. All right, this is what it's, man. Make your house a plague house, a Blake Dr. Press Comics house, baby. This is what you got to do. Thank you again for tuning into the Comic Crusaders podcast. All you folks that were tuning in, especially across X, it seems that's the platform where everybody likes to start watching videos now. It seems to have been right there for some odd reason. But with that, again, thank you. You much love to all my Crusaders. Check out everything at comiccrusaders.com. The social platforms, you know what it is. Hasta la próxima, man. Much love. Wepa!
Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.com and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.